Hey guys, welcome to YOGALATES with SJ and to this full body strength training workout. So you don't need any equipment for the workout today, but if you want to, you can grab some kind of bench or even just be near to a coffee table or the sofa, and maybe make sure that you've got water as well. And if you want to, you can use wrist or ankle weights with this, but this is a body weight strengthening workout and we are going to be working through every muscle. So we're just starting here and standing. Let's just take some time here to warm up. Bringing the belly button back towards the spine, shoulders down and away from the ears, palms facing forward. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, pressing the palms out to the side and releasing the arms back down and keeping this going. So inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale as you press the palms out to the sides and then releasing the arms back down by your sides, keeping those palms facing forward, spreading wide through the fingers, keeping your core engaged, shoulders are relaxed down and away from the ears. Finding a neutral pelvis, so you are not tucking the tailbone, you are not pressing the tailbone back, and we are finding a really nice nerve stretch into the fingers as well by just spreading wide through those fingers, pressing the palms out to the sides, releasing the arms down, feeling those shoulders sliding down the back as well. You might start to lift the gaze with this, finding a bit of length into the front side of the neck, and just inhaling as you come up, exhaling as you come back out with the arms. Nice work. We are warming up and finding your breath. This is nice and low impact, but we're getting everything here in this workout today. Nice. Just starting to roll the shoulders up and releasing the shoulders back and down away from the ears. And maybe a little bit of head movement here. You might just gaze over one shoulder, then the other. And then you're softly bending into the knees as you start to come down, bringing the shoulders all the way forward. And then rolling those shoulders up towards the ears and releasing the shoulders down the back as you find a length into the back of those legs. So we're just softly bending into the knees as you come forward and then releasing the shoulders down and lengthening up towards the ceiling as you come up through standing. Just making sure those knees are not rolling inward. And then we're starting to reverse this. So just bringing the shoulders all the way up towards the ears, rounding the shoulders forward and down again. You might start to find some softness into those knees, and maybe starting to make the arm movement a little bit bigger and using that lifting up from the soles of the feet all the way up to the top of the head, finding that length. Now let's go back the other way with the arms. So you're sweeping the arms all the way forward and then bringing the arms up, fingertips point up towards the sky, and then bringing the arms back down. Finding that beautiful rotation of the shoulder, as well as really working into the spine here. So the hips are starting to come back towards the back wall as you soften into those knees. And then we are bringing the arms all the way forward and then lifting up tall and reaching up high. And then starting to come all the way back down. Inhale, bringing the arms up. Exhale as you circle sweep the arms forward and then coming back up through standing. So we're just keeping this going as you come up through standing, just letting the palms come to face forward. So you're finding that rotation of the shoulders. The shoulders are coming down and away from the ears, and then you are circle sweeping the arms all the way around, rolling the spine, coming all the way back up through standing. So continuing to move with this in any way that feels good. We're really working here into the spine, and then we are coming all the way back through center and staying here. So just coming to be just a short distance from either the back of the sofa or maybe from your bench. And we're just starting to just keep the hips square to the side edge of your mat, and you're starting to sweep one arm across the body and then coming back through center and then sweeping the other arm across the body back through center. We want to make sure the lower body is staying still the whole time here. Your shoulders are not up towards the ears, so keeping the shoulders down. Softness into the elbows, so you're not locking out into those elbows. Really engaging into that core. And then we're starting to just tap the left toes as you start to sweep the left arm up and over to that right side. So you are keeping everything else really still here. You're softening into that elbow as you draw the elbow down into the side waist, and then lengthening up and over to that right side. Keeping everything else nice and still, relaxing the jaw, relaxing all the muscles of the face. Let's go to the other side. So the right arm starts to sweep up and over, and then you're dropping that elbow back down, really connecting into the arm muscles here as well as the shoulder and the core. So keeping that core really, really engaged to make sure that you are staying still, stable, and working every muscle here. Nice. And then just starting to come back through center and just making a little washing machine motion. So just a little twist from side to side as you relax the arms, letting the head follow in the same direction that the arms are going. So you're just really letting everything start to kind of soften up and just flow freely here, breathing deeply in and fully out. And nice work. Let's take a moment here, preparing for our first round of exercises. We're going to do 3 rounds of these. So just taking a moment here to find your balance through the left supporting foot, and then you're bringing the right foot forward, bending through that left knee, and then you are pressing into the left foot to come up back through standing. So you can bring your hands onto your hips, or you can bring the hands in together in prayer in front of you, trying to keep that right foot lifted the whole time and just using your strength through that left side to lift you up, and then starting to soften into the knee as you bring the arms forward and lifting up tall as you come up. So you want to make sure that you've got a core engagement the whole time. The head is in the same line as the rest of the back. The shoulders are relaxed down and away from the ears. Let's come straight over to the other side. Starting to find your weight, balancing into that right supporting foot, starting to soften into the left knee, bringing the hands onto the hips, maybe starting to bring the hands together in prayer or out in front of you, and you are finding your pistol squat. So starting to bend into that right leg, into that right knee, lengthening the left leg out in front of you, and then pressing into the foot evenly to come up through standing, keeping your core engaged, shoulders relaxed. Exhale as you power back up. You have got so much strength that is within you, and you can discover that simply by really just allowing your mind to know how powerful, how much more you can do, how much stronger you actually really are. So staying with this, and then let's come back all the way to standing, and then you are coming to do your tricep dips. So starting to just bring your hands to either the edge of a couch, or you might have your bench, and we are starting to either lengthen the legs out in front of you, or you can bend into the knees and just have the feet down on the mat if you want to make this a little bit easier. Starting to just let the elbows go straight back as you lower the pelvis down, and then pressing into the back of the arm muscles to lift you back up. So keeping your core engaged here, you are letting the pelvis come down, and you are pressing into those tricep muscles, the back of the arms, to lift you back up. So we're not so much using the feet for this, really bringing your mind to the muscles that we're wanting to work, which is the back of those arm muscles. Nice. Now coming all the way back up through standing, we're going to come to a wall squat. So you can either come up against a wall and just hold here, or you can just be here in your hold without the wall. So we're starting to just soften into the knees, bringing the feet about shoulder distance apart, toes turned out, heels turned in. It's 30 seconds here, guys. You're just sitting down into the heels and staying here, trying to keep length into the spine. Core is engaged, breathing deeply in through the nose, out the nose or mouth. Beautiful work. Keeping that neutral pelvis, breathing in, breathing out, using your breath. It really does help. It helps so much to just send that oxygen through to the muscles. Nice. And then powering back up to standing, coming all the way down onto your back. So rolling yourself down onto your back, reaching the fingertips towards the back of the heels, bringing your belly button back towards the spine. The back of those shoulders are connected into the mat, finding a neutral through the back of the neck, and you're starting to lengthen the right toes up towards the ceiling, lifting the pelvis up towards the ceiling. You might want to reach the arms up overhead, or you might want to press down into the mat to find a little bit more support. We are squeezing into those glutes evenly as you lift up and lower down. Just a little lift and a lower, keeping your core engaged, using your glute muscles, the back of the legs, to really lift you up and lower back down. Nice. If you want to, you can just keep a bend into the knee. You don't have to have a straight leg here with us. So we just want to keep that pelvis lifted and then rolling the spine vertebra by vertebra to come all the way back down. Now let's come straight over to the other side. So you're starting to lengthen the left toes up towards the ceiling. You might reach the arms up overhead, or maybe having the arms down by your sides, finding that support through those palms. Just starting to lift the pelvis up high, and you are pressing up, lifting up through that supporting foot. Lifting, and then a lower back down just a little bit. So we are not letting the pelvis come all the way back down, and finding that connection here, finding that power through those glutes, through the pelvis, through also lifting the hips up, keeping your core engaged, and then softly bending into that knee, keeping the lift, rolling the spine, coming all the way back and rolling back down. Arms reach down, and then you're starting to let the legs go long, bringing the legs out wide. You can bring the hands behind the head and just finding some space between the chin and the chest. Now we're going to do a full roll up here, but if you don't want to do that, just closing the ribs and just finding just little crunches up and down. Otherwise, you're starting to lengthen the arms up overhead, using your core muscles to lift you up, coming up, and then reaching for the right hand to left toes, and then doing the same thing on the other side. So you are rolling all the way back down through center, and then you are rolling all the way back up, and then you are twisting over to that left side, reaching the right fingertips towards the left toes, and then you are coming back through center, rolling back down, and then coming over to the other side. So keeping this going, guys. As you do this, just making sure that you are flexing the toes back towards the face. So we don't want to bring any tension into the joints here. So this just allows a little bit of softness into the knees by having those toes flexed back rather than pointing the toes. And as you lift up, I want you to lift up really tall from the tailbone all the way out the top of the head. Your shoulders are relaxed the whole time, and you are just using those core muscles to lift you up. So keeping the ribs closed. If this feels too much, again, you can always just stay quite low with this by just bringing the hands behind the head and just doing some crunches up. And then you might also come to twist the elbow towards the hip, and then come back through center and do the same on the other side. So you're kind of finding that oblique little crunch. So you don't have to come all the way up, guys. Just working with where you can stay holding that connection of core. We don't want to let it go. So it's really important that we're able to move into a position where we're not bringing any tension into the lower back or into the back of the neck. If you're noticing that happen, then your range of motion just needs to change, and you just need to start to stay a little bit with a less kind of full range of motion, so that you're able to keep and maintain that connection of core to gain even further strength in the core muscles and the abs. Nice. Just keeping this going. time you come down, we are staying here, reaching the arms up and circle sweep the arms all the way down and bringing the legs together, starting to hug the knees in towards the heart center, and any kind of movement here that feels good, maybe a little rock from side to side, taking some deep breaths in through the nose, out the nose or mouth, and then you're rolling over onto your left forearm. So just stacking the hips, stacking the knees, stacking the feet, and making sure that that shoulder is in line with the elbow. We're starting to lift up, and you are staying lifted as you start to open that top knee up and then lowering the knee back down to join the other knee. So you are working into the outer thigh as you start to press out, and then you are squeezing into the inner thigh as you start to bring the knees back in together. So really bringing your mind here into the muscles. You're staying lifted up out of the shoulder, so you're not collapsing down into that supporting shoulder, and you're keeping your core engaged. And then one more, and coming down. Let's come over to the other side. So you're coming over to the right supporting forearm, and you are stacking the knees, stacking the feet, stacking the hips, keeping everything in that nice line here, making sure that you're not collapsing down into that right shoulder. So you're pressing the shoulder towards the mat, spreading wide through the fingers, lifting up out of the side waist, lifting up high, and then starting to open that top hip out, and then squeezing into the inner thigh to draw the knees back in toward each other. You might bring your hand onto that outer thigh to kind of find a little bit of weight there, but more so as well just to kind of make sure that your mind is coming to that outer thigh, the outer hip, the outside of the glute, really noticing where you are feeling this. Getting strong here. We're also working into the obliques, the waist, the side waist muscles as well. So the core is working too. Awesome. Coming all the way back down, and then coming all the way down onto your belly. Starting to lengthen the legs behind you and bringing the hands to the shoulders, or about sort of in the same line as the shoulders. We're just starting to lift the gaze as you lift the feet up off of the mat, and then lowering the forehead back down onto the mat, and the top of the feet start to lower back down. So as you continue with this, you are keeping length through the back of the neck. You are keeping the elbows going directly backward, shoulders are away from the ears, pressing the pubic bone down into the mat, as well as keeping your core engaged, making sure that you aren't bringing any tension into the back of the neck. You're using the glute muscles to lift those legs up, and then lowering all the way back down. Nice work. Just making sure that you're really bringing your mind to those muscles. Now let's keep this going. So you are lifting up, so lifting the hands, lifting the top of those feet up. So it's a hover of the hands up, forehead hovers, and the top of those feet hover. So really getting into the back muscles as well here, as well as into those glutes. We're not bringing any tension into the low back, so you are engaging into your core, pressing the front side of the hips and the pubic bone down into the mat, lifting, 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 lowering back down with control. Beautiful work, you guys. We're also getting into the back of the thighs, into the hamstrings here. Now you're just lowering down, maybe stacking one arm on top of the other, forehead comes onto those stacked arms. You're just starting to lift the right toes and pointing the right toes up towards the ceiling, bending into the knee. Just a lift and a lower of that knee up and down, and then lengthening the leg out and doing the same thing. So keeping this going. You are just starting to make little pulses up and down through that right side, that right glute, and then releasing the leg back down. Let's come straight over to the other side. So you're starting to hover the left knee up, lengthening the leg behind you, and then bending into that knee, pointing the toes towards the ceiling, and you are starting to lift and lower. So really using the glute muscles on that left side, that smile line underneath the glute, to lift up, lower down, and then lengthening the leg out behind you, pointing the toes, and continuing here, lifting and lowering with control. Keeping it lifted really high here, relaxing through the belly, relaxing the upper body as you keep it going. And one more, and release. Let's come all the way to a tabletop position, and you are tucking the toes. We're coming to a plank, so you can either be in a high plank with the knees lifted, or you can lower those knees down onto the mat. I want you to make sure your shoulders are in line with the hands. You have got your core engaged. We're going to do a press up here. So elbows go straight back as you lower everything down through the torso in one long line, and then pressing up to back up to your full plank here. Nice full press up, making sure the shoulders are away from the ears. If it's too much to be in that full plank with the knees up, making sure you're dropping those knees down. You can even lift the feet up off the mat if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, and making sure you are keeping your core engaged. One more time, and then coming all the way back up. Let's come up to a high kneeling, just a little washing machine from side to side, letting the head flow, letting the arms flow. And then we're finding a child's pose just to take some time here before we come into our next round. So we're just going to have a little break here in child's pose, or maybe you are just doing something else, just taking some time here, maybe grabbing some water. You might just find the forearms connecting, maybe letting the head come down towards the mat, just letting the pelvis soften towards the heels, belly relaxing down, releasing the back of the neck, just taking some cleansing breaths in through the nose, relaxing everything out as you breathe it out. Letting everything go, preparing for our next round, you guys. So good. We're getting it all here in this workout today. Nice. Let's go into our second round. So taking your time to find some water. If you haven't already grabbed some water, have a quick drink of water, and let's get straight into it. So we are coming back to do our pistol squat. So you're finding that support behind you, more just for a little bit of mindfulness than anything else. You're starting to lengthen that right foot forward as you start to bend into that left knee, and the arms can come forward, or you can bring the hands to the hips for some support here. You are just sitting back into that supporting heel as you lengthen that right leg in front of you, and then pressing all the way back up through standing. Really finding that lifting up out of the pelvic floor all the way through. So zipping up from the pelvic floor all the way to the top of the ribs, and then you are lifting all the way back up, lowering all the way back down. Let's come to the other side, guys. So just finding that weight is even through that supporting foot on that right side, and then you're going to start to lengthen the left leg out in front of you. Softness into the knees, and we are sitting down into the heel and pressing back up through standing. Lengthening the arms forward if you want to here. We just want to make sure that that supporting knee is not going forward of the toes. So you are sitting back into this, keeping the spine in the same line as the head, so the whole back is in that beautiful long line here. Core is engaged, feeling your power as you power back up, pressing up evenly through that supporting foot to come up through standing. Great for balance as well. Making sure you're not holding your breath. Beautiful. And coming all the way back up to standing. Now we're coming straight into our tricep dip. So coming up against your couch, the edge of your couch, or maybe to your bench, and we are starting to either just have a bend into the knees with the feet flat on the mat to make this a bit easier, or to make it more challenging, lengthening the legs long in front of you and starting to bend through the elbows and lowering the pelvis down, and then pressing into the back of the arms to bring you all the way back up. Making sure the shoulders are away from the ears the whole time, guys, and making sure that you're not locking out through the elbows here. You've always got softness into those elbows. You are working into the back of the arms, the tricep muscles. We are not working anything else really here, although we are using our core to stay stable and coming all the way back up through standing. Nice. Let's come to that wall sit. So either coming up against a wall, or you can just be here, and we are just starting to bring the toes to turn out, heels slightly turned in, bringing the feet about shoulder distance apart, and you are sitting down into those heels, keeping your core engaged, holding here for 30 seconds. making sure you're breathing, maybe sitting down a little bit deeper, guys. This is our second round. We've only got one more round after this. So starting to really pick this up, finding even more power, making sure those knees though are not going forward of the toes, so the knees are directly in line with the toes. They are not rolling inward, they are not rolling outward, and coming up, guys, and rolling all the way down onto your back. Let's find that neutral pelvis, reaching the fingertips towards the back of the heels, shoulders are down and away from the ears, and your core is engaged, ribs are closed, and we are finding our weight is supported into that left foot, starting to lengthen the right toes up towards the ceiling, and you are lifting the pelvis up high, lowering it back down, hovering up over the mat, so you're not bringing the pelvis all the way back down before lifting back up again. Maybe the arms come up overhead to make this more challenging, or maybe you've got the arms down by your sides, maybe the palms are facing down to find some support. Lifting up, guys, you can do this. Lower back down, it's only a small lift, keeping your core engaged. You can bend into that knee if you want to, if it feels too much to have the leg extended. Nice, and then lifting, lowering the foot back down, and then rolling all the way back down, vertebra by vertebra. Let's come straight over to that other side. You are lengthening the left toes up, and you are reaching the arms up overhead if you want to, lifting the pelvis up, pressing into that supporting foot, lifting, ribs are closed, lowering back down just a tiny lower, and then lifting back up. Finding your power, guys, finding how strong you are through that lower body, lifting and lowering. Finding that connection as well of the core, so you can use your core as well to lift you up, and keeping that connection to lower back down, just hovering up over the mat, and then bending through the knee, keeping that lift, staying here, hold, and then rolling the spine, letting the foot release back down and floating the arms back down by your sides. Then starting to lengthen the legs out long, bringing the feet out wide, maybe bringing the hands behind the head. You might just want to stay with just a crunch up and a lower back down through center, and then maybe finding that kind of twist to one side and then back through center, and then to the other side back through center. Or maybe you're wanting to do your full roll up with your twist over to one side, coming back through center, and then rolling the spine, coming all the way back down. So working into whatever you want to here. Another option here would be to actually have the feet flat on the mat, so bending into the knees, and just allowing yourself to maybe kind of walk the hands up the back of the legs, using your hands to kind of lift you up, and then starting to twist over to one side, and then coming back through center, and then rolling back down, using your hands to kind of find that support. So whatever you choose to do, it's really important to make sure the whole time you're able to keep that core connection. You're able to really work into the abs here. We're working into every single muscle of the core, including the side waist, including those oblique muscles. Softness into the knees. So even if the legs are extended, I want you to make sure you're not locking out through those knees. You've got the toes flexed back towards the face, and rolling up, rolling back down with control. So good, you guys. Jaw is relaxed. Lifting up tall out of the pelvic floor, all the way out the top of the head as you come up, finding that really nice long line from the tailbone all the way out the top of the head. Nice, and keeping that beautiful connection, that beautiful length as you twist to one side, and reaching, and then coming back through center and rolling all the way back down. Keep it going. Next time you come down, you're staying here, bringing the legs in together, and then you're hugging the knees in towards the heart center. Maybe that little rock from side to side, relaxing the tummy muscles, lengthening the tailbone towards the end of your mat, taking a deep breath in and a full breath out. Then you're coming all the way over onto that left forearm, stacking the hips, stacking the knees, stacking the feet, finding your core engagement, lifting the hips up, and you are starting to lift that top knee out and then lowering the knee back. Keeping this going, so we're really working into the outer thigh here, the outside of the glute, as well as the core is getting worked here, having to stabilize. We're working into the inner thigh. We're also strengthening the hips as well, and you're also getting a really, really nice strength through the shoulder, through the arm. There's a lot happening in this, making sure you're breathing, lifting up, lowering back down with control, then slowly lowering the hips all the way back, and we're coming to the other side. So you're coming to your right forearm this time, stacking the hips, stacking the knees, stacking the feet, making sure that your shoulder is in line with the elbow, and you are lifting up out of that side waist, lifting the hips up and opening that top knee out, and then squeezing back in again. Keeping this going, maybe bringing your hand to the outside of the hip or to the outer thigh to really bring your mind to those muscles, finding that strength here into the outside of the leg and squeezing into the inside leg as you draw the knees back in together. Keep that core engaged, don't let it go. Beautiful work, making sure you're not collapsing into the supporting shoulder and then coming all the way back through center. And we are rolling all the way up to a high kneeling, releasing the arms down and then lowering down onto your belly, bringing the hands to be next to the shoulders, elbows go straight back. You're hovering the forehead up off the mat, as well as the hands and the top of the feet lift. So you're working into the whole back body here, lowering everything back down with control. Exhale, inhale as you hover up. Keeping this going. So as you do this, I want you to keep the legs glued together. You are keeping the gaze either straight down or slightly forward, so you're not bringing any tension into the back of the neck. You are keeping the shoulders away from the ears, pressing that pubic bone down into the mat and lifting up. Inhale, exhale, lowering back down with control. Beautiful work. And we are continuing here, so really getting into those glutes, into the booty, into the whole back body. So we're getting the back muscles here as well. You're also working into your core. So there's so much happening in this. This workout is amazing for the entire body. We're also getting a faster metabolism. We are getting just everything really in this workout today, as we do in all the workouts here on the channel. Lifting up, inhale, exhale, lower down with control. You guys, you're doing so good. We are nearly done with the workout today, so I want you to give it your all. Now let's lower back down, coming onto a stacked forearm, so bringing one forearm on top of the other, and you're starting to lift that right leg up, bending through the knee, toes point to the ceiling, and just lifting and lowering, using the glute muscle to lift up and lower down. Doing a few of these, and then you're lengthening the leg behind you, continuing to lift and lower, working into the back of that glute, into the back of the leg, and a couple more, and then lowering back down with control. Let's come straight to the other side. So the left leg hovers up and you're bending through that knee, pointing the toes towards the ceiling, and it's a little lift up and a lower down, making sure your core is engaged and making sure you're not bringing any tension into that lower back, and then straightening the leg and continuing to lift and lower. It's just a little hover up, and it's a very small movement up and down, bringing your mind to those booty muscles, to that smile line underneath the glute. Beautiful work. And then lowering back down with control, bringing the hands next to the shoulders, pressing into the hands, shifting the hips back towards the heels, and then starting to come all the way to your plank position. So you're either in your high plank here for your push-up, or you are going to to drop those knees down, and we're going to do a half push-up. So completely over to you, just making sure you're able to continue to maintain that core connection the whole time. And when you're ready, keeping length from the top of the head all the way out the toes, you are starting to lower down, bending through the elbows, and then pressing back up, using the back of the arm muscles, the triceps, to really press you back up. Keeping that core engaged the whole time. Don't let it go. Elbows go straight back. Your gaze is straight down or slightly forward. We're not lifting the chin. So you are making sure you've got a bit of space between the chin and the chest, and a couple more, and then rolling all the way back up. We're finding that high kneeling position, little washing machine motion from side to side, just letting everything flow freely here, and then coming all the way back to your child's pose. Taking a break, you guys, before we do our final round of these exercises, and you're going to be completely done. So just taking a beautiful break here, maybe coming down onto the forearms, maybe letting the pelvis release towards the heels, knees coming out wide, belly relaxing down. Maybe you might let the top of the head start to find the earth as you find length through the back of the neck. Just letting the shoulders be away from the ears, taking those cleansing breaths in through the nose, and then all the way back out the nose or mouth. Relaxing the jaw, all the muscles of the face, and then taking your time to slowly come all the way back up. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, coming all the way back up to standing. Let's come straight into our final round. We are grabbing some water if you need some, taking this time to prepare. And then we are straight into it. So you're starting to find your weight is into that left supporting foot, lengthening the right leg in front of you, and either bringing the hands onto the hips or reaching the arms out in front of you as you start to sit back into that left supporting heel, and finding that balance here, and then lifting up to standing. Power it up, coming down maybe even lower this time, just making sure that you are not bringing that knee to come forward of the toes. So we want to make sure you're sitting down into this, almost as though you're sitting down into a chair. Seeing if you can get your tailbone to nearly kind of come to your support behind you, so you can really feel that full sitting back into this. And then let's come straight over to the other side. So you're finding your weight into that right supporting foot, and you are finding your balance here and bending through the left knee, and you're lengthening the left leg out in front of you. Starting to sit back into that right foot, sitting back into the heel, letting the tailbone lengthen down and back, so you've got the whole spine in that beautiful long line all the way out the top of the head. Shoulders are relaxed, sitting down even more, and then pressing back up to power it up, keeping your core engaged. Make sure you're breathing. So good, you guys. Last one, and then coming all the way up. We are coming to the edge of either your couch or your bench, and you are starting to either have a bend into those knees if you want to make this a little bit easier, or lengthening the legs out long if you want to make it more challenging. Making sure that you've got the arms in nice and close. The elbows are going to go straight back, starting to lower down, pelvis lowers down, and then pressing all the way back up. Using the back of the arm muscles, making sure you're not locking out through the elbows here. Keeping your core engaged. The pelvis is going straight down and straight up again. So we are not tucking the tailbone. We are not pressing the tailbone back. We're keeping that beautiful neutral positioning. Using the back of the arm muscles, those tricep muscles, to guide this. So lowering down, pressing back up, and then coming all the way back up through standing. Let's find that wall sit or that hold in the squat. So bringing the feet about shoulder distance apart, toes turned out, heels slightly turned in, sitting down into the heels, keeping length into the spine, bringing the hands onto the hips, or maybe bringing the hands together in prayer, sitting down even deeper into this. Let's hold here, holding for 30 seconds. You can do this. This is the final round, you guys. We are nearly done with this, so making it count. Even when you think The moment where you think that you just can't do anymore, just give it a little bit longer, just a little bit longer, and notice the change. Notice what happens. Just getting past those barriers. Nice. And then pressing all the way back up to standing. Nice. Let's roll all the way down onto your back, reaching the fingertips towards the back of the heels, letting the shoulders come away from the ears, back of the shoulders connect down into your mat, core is engaged, finding your weight is even through both sides of the feet. You're starting to reach the right toes up towards the ceiling, finding the straightness through the back of that right leg, and then you're lifting the pelvis up and then lowering it back down to hover just above the mat. Maybe reaching the arms up overhead, or maybe you've got the arms down by your sides. Making sure there's space between the chin and the chest, and you are lifting up, keeping the ribs closed, lowering back down with control. Keeping it going, feeling that the weight is even through both glutes, both sides of the body. So the hips are pointing directly up towards the ceiling, and then softening into that knee, lowering the foot all the way back down, and then you're rolling the spine vertebra by vertebra to roll all the way back down onto your mat. Arms float down by your sides. Let's come straight over to the other side. So you're starting to lengthen the left toes up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're reaching the arms up overhead, maybe you're not. Maybe the hands are down by your sides. Starting to press into that right supporting foot as you start to reach those toes up towards the ceiling on that left side. Lifting, 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 and lowering back down with control. Don't let that pelvis come all the way down. You're hovering up over the mat, lifting up and lowering back down. It's a really small movement here. It's all about bringing your mind into the muscles, into the glutes, the booty, the back of the legs, and then softly bending into the knee and letting the back of the heel soften towards the pelvis, and then floating the foot back down. Arms float back down by your sides. Starting to lengthen the legs out long, bringing the feet out to the wide edges of your mat. Maybe you are bringing your hands behind the head here and you're just doing those little crunches up, making sure that there's some space between the chin and the chest, and you're using your core muscles, not the neck muscles. Or you might do your full roll up. So maybe you're reaching the arms up overhead, rolling the spine, coming all the way up, and then twisting towards that left side, right, fingertips reach, and then coming back, and let's go to the other side. So continuing with this, again, working at your own range. You don't need to come all the way up. You may just stay down with that little crunch and then a twist with your crunch, kind of getting into those oblique muscles. What is most important is that you are listening to your body and you are working at a kind of a pace and a range that is challenging for you, but it's also not going to cause any kind of niggles or any injury. So it's all about making sure we're actually hitting the right muscles here. We've got really good form, so we want to be working through the core muscles. We don't want to be bringing tension to the neck or into the back with this. So if you're noticing the neck or the back getting niggly, then shorten your range, or even just take a break for a bit and then come back to it and shorten your range when you're ready. Nice work. Next time you roll all the way down, staying here, you guys, and starting to let the arms float down by your sides and bringing the feet in together, the knees come in towards the heart. We're hugging those knees in as you lengthen the tailbone towards the end of your mat. Maybe that little rock from side to side. Maybe you're circling the knees. And then we're coming all the way over onto your side. So you're coming to that left side, making sure the elbow is in line with the shoulder. You're lifting up out of that supporting shoulder. You've got the hips stacked, the knees stacked, the feet stacked, and you are lifting up and lowering back down through that outer thigh and the inner thigh. And lifting up, lowering back down. You can always lower the side waist or the side hip down onto your mat if you're finding this too challenging to have the hips lifted up with this. So again, we want to make sure that we've got awesome form and that we are challenging ourselves, but also not in any way going to cause any kind of niggles or injury. Nice. Let's come straight over to the other side. So you're coming over onto the right forearm and you've got the hips stacked, the knees stacked, the feet stacked. You are lifting up out of that supporting shoulder. So you're not collapsing down into that supporting shoulder. You're pressing into your forearm and the hand on that right side. And then you're lifting the hips up and you are starting to lift that top knee out and then lower back down. So really getting into that outer glute, the outer thigh, the outside of the hip. And squeeze it out and squeeze it in, getting into those inner thighs as well. Core is also getting worked here. The shoulder is getting worked. The arm muscles. So much happening here. Breathing in, breathing out. Give it your all. We're nearly done, you guys. Give it your all. You can do this. Nice. And then coming all the way down, lowering down, and then let's come all the way over. Starting to come to your high kneeling. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale as you bring the arms all the way down, bringing the hands down, lowering the whole body back down onto your mat. And we're going to start with that little glue of the legs together. You are hovering the forehead up off the mat as you lift the palms up off the mat and the top of the feet lift, and then you are lowering everything back down with control. Shoulders are away from the ears, elbows are going straight back, locking those shoulders or those arms into the side waist, and you are pressing down to the hips, the front side of those hips and the pubic bone as you lift up, keeping your core engaged, squeezing the inner thighs together, the arches of the feet are connecting, and then keeping this going. Last one, make it count. Inhale, coming up, exhale, lowering back down. Nice. Stacking the forearms or the hands, and we're starting to lift that right leg up, and you're lifting and lowering. So toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. You've got to bend into the knee, and you are lifting, little lift up and lower down, and then lengthening the leg long, keeping this going. So it's a tiny lift and lower down. We are finding that connection of core as well, squeezing into that glute, into that smile line, and lowering the top of the foot back down. Let's come straight to the other side. So hovering the left leg up, bending into the knee, toes point up towards the ceiling, and it's a lift and a lower. Keep it going, you guys. Doing so good. We've only got a couple more minutes left. Keep it going, pressing that pubic bone down into the mat. Now you're straightening the leg out behind you and keeping that lift and lower going. Controlling the movement up and lowering down. Keep your core engaged. Make sure you're not bringing this into the lower back here. You are bringing your mind to the glutes, to the core, and using those muscles to guide this. Nice. Lowering back down and coming all the way to your tabletop position, and then we're coming all the way to our plank position, ready for our press up. So you can either be in your high plank or you can drop those knees and come down into your low plank. We want to make sure that we've got our core engaged. You've got a neutral pelvis here, so you're not lifting the tailbone up too high or dropping the hips down too low. Starting to bend through the elbows, shoulders go straight back, and you are lowering the whole top body, the whole upper body down in one long line, and then pressing into the back of those arms to draw you back up. Beautiful work, you guys. Keep your core engaged. Don't let it go. Your gaze is directly forward or slightly forward and down. Nice. Pressing down, pressing up. Really getting into every muscle. Beautiful work. Last one. And then rolling all the way back to your high kneeling. Little washing machine motion here. You're done, you guys. You've done amazing today. Thank you so much for joining me. Take a break. It was awesome to have you join me. If you enjoyed this, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out as well to just keep on making content for you. And also there is new releases every week here, absolutely free at-home workouts. So if you haven't already, I would love you to subscribe, and also let me know how you're going as well. Love to hear in the comments. Have an amazing rest of your day, whatever it is that you're doing. Can't wait to see you again soon.